Welcome back. I hope you're ready for some more of the OSPN Exception to the Rule campaign. I'm certainly excited for part 2. In Engagement 1, last time, we jumped in early to the Crebensis system. We hunted down an Alliance guard patrol and made sure that the space was clear for the rest of our fleet to jump in, mostly undetected. Now we're moving on to Engagement 2, Storm Warning. With the Alliance on the attack, the convoy raiding effort is in peril. The asteroid belt of Crebensis blisters and boils with heavy jamming as the Alliance uses their electronic warfare superiority to cut down the OSP raiding groups one by one. There's only one ship in the battle group that can make a stand. Silence the jammers and bring this counteroffensive to a halt. Okay? So for this, we've got the OSPN Exception to the Rule again, our Ocello-class command cruiser, exactly the same lead as last time. Got to correctly identify these as VLS-2 launchers, not MLS-2 launchers, so these are vertical launch systems for size 2 missiles, and we've got the VLS-1 for the size 1. Looks like we also have a new ship, though. We have the OSPN Onslaught of Abundance. This is a bulk freighter-class line ship. I mentioned last time that the OSPN is a faction mostly revolving around the militarization of civilian ships. Last time we had a militarized tug. This time we have a militarized cargo ship. One of the advantages of a cargo ship is that you can stuff a lot of stuff in it, and you'll see the firepower that this thing has when we get into combat. These C-56 cannons are double-barreled 250mm cannons mounted along a broadside axis. It'll be pretty cool to see them in action. We also have some container stack launchers here. These let us hold militarized containers, shipping containers, so we can fire at the enemy as either torpedoes or some of them have special presence inside them. And then we have some pretty heavy PDT as well, though it's all ballistic based. So we're going to have to rely on these Auroras a lot, I think, in this mission. Mission summary. Weeks since the Divide 12. I believe last time it was 5, so we've been behind enemy lines for a bit of time. OSPN Navy Link comm, voice transcript. N. Vance has joined the call. Pick up, you bastard. B. Stratus has joined the call. Reporting as ordered, Captain. As of this very moment, I am pinned under a rock, and there's a squadron of beam destroyers on my ass. So we need to keep this brief. Is your ship combat capable? We just got another 2 freighters and their escorts. No significant damage. You and the other raiding groups have been doing ace work, but whoever's in command over there is being a massive pain in my ass. There's an Alliance task force loose in our rear area and they've been torching the supply dumps we set around the system. If they're allowed to continue running wild, we'll run out of fuel and the missiles we need for offensive operations. So we're going to withdraw back to Reclaren, right? Are you fucking high? Sounds to me like they've pulled a significant portion of our forces away from the jumping off point, the gate to Bethel, to react to their incursion, which, as far as our official mission goes, is exactly what we're supposed to provoke. It's time to get out before cease the quitter talk. Every week we keep them occupied. Here's another week the shipyards have to militarize more freighters for the gate blockade. We have to stay in system and remain a threat for as long as possible. But ma'am, enough. We can discuss strategy further once I tear these fucking destroyers apart. So where do you want me then? As I was saying, the marauding task force has to be stopped. I sent a few other ships to do the job, but they were sent packing by an ungodly amount of electronic warfare. And when it comes to dealing with that shit, your cruiser has no equal. We've been tracking their dry flares, and you're close enough to interdict them at their jumping off point before they hit another one of our fuel caches. I want them smashed to dust. I am. I'm detaching a line ship to join you. It should provide some additional firepower for background. Spiker! Count 4 incoming. Range 3 kilo, bearing 251 by 064 speed. Oh fuck, background noise is detected. PDTs are up. Bastion and engaging. Splash 1. Gotta go. So it sounds like got hit by a missile attack at the end there. Okay, after that little bit of RP, let's jump into the mission. Alright. Oh, this is a cool map. I know this map. This is, we actually get to deploy our fleet here, which is pretty cool. So most games of Nebulous start with this option here where you actually choose where your ships come in. So we've got the Exception to the Rule, we've got the Onslaught of the Abundance. Now, one thing I quite like about this battle space is we have this large, it's called the Cliff, actually, not the Rift. This large rock here. And what it effectively does is it cuts this whole battle space into 2. And I feel like controlling one of the edges is a very powerful position to put yourself in because you can dip to either side to break line of sight and also keep an eye on the enemy. So I'm actually going to come in really high here. We're going to bring in the Onslaught of Abundance, which is our liner, a little bit lower, because what we can do is we can use the cover of the rock so it can pop out fire and pop back into cover, but we'll keep the Exception to the Rule quite high so it can have a lookout for us, and we'll see what we're going to deal with. There is also some rocks down here, but I don't really like deploying behind them because you can end up pinned with open space behind you and no cover. Coming in close to the asteroid, I think, gives you more options tactically as to what you can do. And this should lead to some more hide and seek than we had in the last mission. And here you can see us doing our deceleration burn into the system. Very bright. And there she is, the Exception to the Rule. Alright, let's see what we're dealing with. First things first, let's get a heading command on this ship. Oh, I haven't got control yet. Okay. Stratus, you got your fat ass over to the target yet, or what? Yes, ma'am, we're standing by. Finally. Alright, time to punch the Alliance Navy in the throat. This engagement won't be as simple as the previous ones you faced. Intelligence says they have a minimum of 2 light cruisers here, the NS Last Call and the NS Grey Area, along with escorts carrying an F-load of jamming. Eliminate the Alliance Task Force. You've gone up against Alliance jamming before, right? Know the procedure? I'll go through the tutorial just for anyone who's new to the game so they get an idea of how electronic warfare in this game works. Somehow, I haven't run into it yet. Really? You've been for quite the experience then. Probably a less lethal one than some of the other squadrons because you've got uniquely equipped for the job. That bastard of warship of yours has a military radar suite, the Parallax, which can burn through jamming. Use the BRN command, then lock the resulting pings to get a workable track. So you can use BRN to do a burn through sweep with your radar. It damages the radar a little bit, but it also pushes through the jamming. It's like an extra powerful radar ping. Then I can lock onto what I've managed to pick out from the jamming. It means my ship can break through jamming, which is very, very unique. You'll have one of our line ships joining you for this operation. Our battle group doesn't have a ton of these. Most of them are earmarked for the gate blockade that's being assembled. But in a year or two, they'll be the main workhorse of the OSPN. As you might have noticed, the Onslaught of Abundance is an asymmetrical loadout, with 250mm cannons blistering on her left side only. So there's the 250mm cannons. The right side just has militarized cargo containers. So this ship is designed to face towards the enemy in like this. So we're shooting at the enemy with this side facing the enemy. It means we're quite susceptible to damage because it can hit all along here, and it's not as armored. Either if they're hitting us face on, we're a much smaller target, but it also means we can bring all of these guns to bear on the enemy at once. Kind of Age of Sail style broadside tactics with this type of ship. This sort of design is great for getting lots of freighters militarized on short notice, but it's somewhat tricky to command in battle. Didn't have time for navcom upgrades, so you have to micromanage the ship's heading. Use the heading command to point the bow about 90 degrees away from the enemy so the left broadside can bear the target. On her other side, the Onslaught has a surprise in store, 8 rocket containers. These contraptions have a fairly long range and a cruise capability for reaching around corners. When a target is acquired, each container will deploy 6 Piranha rockets, very effective against lighter ships. But if they're sitting behind chaff, then the salvo may misfire. Best used against an advancing enemy, so the chaff is deployed behind and is less effective. Speaking of missiles, we're able to get the exception tubes reloaded in time for this engagement. You've got a little more than a half load of the Thunderheads used last time, but their signals will get jammed to hell, just like a shipboard radar. If you fancy yourself a clever captain, you might be able to use the cruise capability to waypoint them from an off-angle attack, avoiding the enemy jamming cone. So we should be aware that all of our missiles in this mission have the ability to be waypointed to the target. Could be quite useful. In case of jamming, burn, then lock. Got it. What if I can't acquire a target lock? If your bullseye suite fails to block a burn through ping, then you need to get closer. You can retreat behind cover instead of an ambush or try to charge right down their throats. Alternatively, if you can survive long enough, the jammers will eventually overheat and shut down, giving you an opening. Get this done, and the Alliance will be off balance. We'll have a strategic mobility restored to us, and we're really counting on you here. Vance signing off. Alright, this is actually a really important lesson for the OSPN because learning how to deal with Alliance jamming is actually a huge part of playing this faction, and it's something that I'm not great at. So this is actually a pretty good tutorial for me as well. Right, I want to give a heading command to the Onslaught of Abundance. I want it to face, whoops, let's just get our camera hooked on it. And I'll do right click move, heading command, and we'll just give it about this angle. I want to be 90 degrees to the rock, and then I'm going to order it to come along the rock to about here, and maybe come up a little bit. And then we're turning on the accession to the rule as well. And what we're looking for is enemies. Now, we don't have the early warning radar available to us this time. So we're going to have to use our own ships to kind of detect where the enemy are, which means we're going to have to get a little bit closer to them before we're kind of ready to fight them. What we don't want to do is, if possible, we want to take on these 2 enemy groups separately. It sounds like they're split up. We don't want to fight them both at the same time. My hope is we can use the cliff, this asteroid here, to cut them off from each other and take them out in detail. That way we don't get overwhelmed by the amount of firepower they've got at us, because a light cruiser and an Ocello, it's not the closest fight, but 2 light cruisers versus an Ocello will be quite difficult for us to deal with. One thing that's going to take a little bit of time is our ships just turning around after they've done their deceleration burn, so we're just going to wait for that to happen. And the terrain on this rock isn't fantastic for ambushes. There's not a lot of nooks and crannies, but this cliff face here, this scooped out area here, is quite nice for just popping in and popping out. The 250mm cannons on this ship, what the OSPN do is they actually run them with autoloaders. So these guns have a very large magazine. They'll fire off their shells very, very quickly, but then they have quite a long recycle time as the autoloader is recharged. Whereas the exception to the rule, its guns are actually much faster to fire, but they don't really make use of an autoloader. So the difference there is they will recycle much faster, but in terms of like terrifying ripple fire, you'll get the Onslaught of Abundance doing a lot more work. Right, we should hopefully pick something up when we come around the horizon of this rock. This line here is pretty much blocking our line of sight on a lot of the map. So as we come around it, we'll start to see more of the terrain and maybe pick up some enemies. Sticking close to the rock as well is pretty good. It means we're not going to be able to have someone come up behind us. I'm actually going to cut in a little bit tighter here. I'm going to bring us in a little bit lower as well, just so we're trying to make use of this cliff here to prevent anyone over here from seeing us until we've scanned this side of the rock. Hopefully that's looking quite clear. We're going to just maybe slow down the abundance for the moment. Keep it on course, but I don't want it to get in there too quickly. But I want it to continue moving, and see it's now back burning to just reduce its speed. I'm going to throttle it at 1/3 until we wait for the exception to the rule to come around the corner here. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get them to pop up, and we'll just put them back to normal speed. And I'm actually going to get the exception to come out this way a little bit, and just basically peekaboo around the outside of the rock, see what we can see if we can find the enemy. No time limit this time, so... Oh, have you hit the rock? What are you doing? Have you lost your heading command? What are you doing? No, I think it's just not managed to correct its thrust. It definitely still has the heading command. Let me just give it a roll command as well, so it stays with the guns. Oh, we've got a track. We've got a track. Okay, enemy track detected. Let's see if we get a lock on it. We've got a lock. I want to open up with AP until I know what it is. And we need to get the onslaught of the abundance up above the horizon here so it can also get a shot. Okay, combat is engaged. I want to pull up until we get a better idea what we're fighting at, but we've already opened fire on it, which is great. Let's give an updated heading command towards it. Looks like they're getting a lock on us now. This here means they've detected us. So we actually got to an attack on them there before they even know we were here, which is a pretty nice start. This is a frigate, so I actually want to switch to HE against it. AP is going to over-penetrate against this ship, and I'm just going to start moving towards it, staying quite close to the asteroid here, and we're going to get this ship here to open up with HE as well. Let's get it moving in along here. I'm just going to fix the heading command a little bit more, get it to face a little bit more this way, and then I want to get them to kind of move around this way. Alright, let's destroy this frigate as fast as possible. This is a really good ambush for us. We've got a second track coming up. Looks like they're being escorted by something. Here you can see the casement for the... look at the amount of firepower this ship can put out. It's going to run out of ammo very quickly, so I'm just going to get it to pop back down. This ship here is in a world of hurt. Look how many HE rounds it's taking. A lot of them are penetrating straight through or missing, but it's a withering amount of fire it's taking, and we're really tight into the rock, so not much else can deal with us right now. I think we're going to just pursue this ship, so I'm going to come in close to the rock here. Just stay in close, and then we're going to bring the onslaught in and around and up. We lost track on them. They've gotten out of our line of sight, but let's keep pushing forward and see what we find. I'm going to update our heading command as well, because I think we're going to face them somewhere around here. And let's update our roll command on this ship so that they're actually pointing down. So if they're... I want them to be facing like this, so the roll is up. We've got a new track. It's probably the same track, actually. It's that rains again. Open up with this. Get a lock. You can open fire on it as well. And that's the power of the casement rounds. They're just ready to fire straight away. I don't think the OSP, the exception rule, actually has... That does have line of sight. What is... I think we just hit ourselves there. Okay, that ship is actually destroyed, so let's cease fire, and let's signal it killed. And let's cease fire here as well. There's no point wasting ammo on that. So that's a kill for us already. Really nice ambush there. Where is the rest of the enemy fleet that was escorting that? These are lifeboats we're seeing come off it, so we know we can cease fire on it. It definitely had some targets there. We got a really nasty ambush. We were opening fire on that fleet, on that ship, before it even knew we were there. You can see that there's no yellow icon next to our ships, which means that we're not being tracked by the enemy right now. We can actually detect their radar emissions when they're hitting us. But let's keep pushing forward and see what we can find. The onslaught to abundance, I just want to correct their heading a little bit. I want them to turn a little bit more this way. I'm going to bring the exception to the rule down into this valley. So like about here, and then bring it out this way. Because I think that those ships were heading out towards somewhere around here. And I don't want to, again, reveal myself too much. And sticking close to the rock just feels right to me. And what I'll do is I'll bring this ship up over the rim here. And I can duck it down if I need to. I'll actually bring it in a little bit lower. So I can duck it down if we get into another fight. Well, that Reigns kill was incredibly fast. Incredibly fast. Where is the rest of the enemy fleet? That is the question. They must be somewhere around... If we're not detecting them right now, they might be under the lip of the rock here. That's probably where they've gone to. Or they're behind this wall here, but that seems unlikely. They're probably down here, which means just coming down... Oh, there we go. We've got a new track. Let's get a lock on it. Let's engage it with AP. Let's get you to engage it with AP. Let's see what we're dealing with. We still don't know what this is. We've opened fire. Do we have a correct line of sight? We do. You can see the shots coming in. Still don't know what this is. We just lost it. That's okay. I'm going to get the exception to the rule to be a little bit more aggressive here. Let's just go into this view. I'm just going to head straight to this point here rather than being cute. To actually come in a little bit lower. That's fine. And get it to come down here. I'm going to get you to come forward over the slope and then start coming down pretty abruptly to here. I don't want the exception to the rule to get too far ahead. Let's update our heading as well. We knew they were somewhere down here, so I'm going to update our heading to this direction here. It's interesting, they appear to be running from us. Oh, new track. They're coming back up. They're popping back up over the edge. Let's get you to come up. Let's get a lock. Let's fire AP. Let's fire AP. Let's actually get you to pull back a little bit. Oh, that looks so cool. Don't mess with container light with. This is a Vauxhall. Okay, good. We're firing the right round. This is a light cruiser. Vauxhall is a light cruiser for the ANS. We're not being hit by any jamming yet, but I don't think they're actually getting a chance to properly acquire us. I've got a feeling the Rains was probably what was carrying the jamming equipment as well. The exception to the rule is currently firing at a rock, but it will eventually get over the top, and now it's providing a lock, and it's going to communicate the information on that lock back to the cargo ship, which means that it will be able to use that to get better targeting information. Let's get them to just pull back a little bit. I don't want them getting engaged. There is a Rains there, I think, another ship escorting this one, but we're not being hit by any jamming yet. What I'm actually going to do at this point is I'm going to fire a cargo container at these guys and just see what happens. Let's just see if this gets through any of their defenses. And let's update our heading command as well. Again, we're not taking any fire right now. The AI seems to maybe be being a little bit... Let's make sure the exception to the rule does not fly into that firing solution. That would be pretty bad. Look how scary that is. Oh. Are we going to take any hits? We didn't take any hits, but that was pretty close. We've got separation from the cargo containers now. Hopefully the exception to the rule will be out of range, out of the firing solution of the Onslaught. No, it won't. I'm going to get the Onslaught to cease fire for the moment. I don't want it to fire until it's clear. But here come the cargo containers. You can see they are actually just cargo containers. But these are packed with rockets, and they will launch the rockets when they get close to the target. So I'm just going to separate these two so they don't end up shooting each other. And as soon as this is clear, I think we are clear, let's open up with the AP. I'm going to order an all stop on this ship for the moment. And let's see what happens. Did I just pick up another sensor track? Yes, I did. They're coming up behind us. Okay, let's readjust here. We're getting jammed. Here we go. Operations. Prevent burn and lock procedures. Weapons. Hold missile launch until break of the jamming. I don't want to waste a salvo launching into this mesh. We're going to pull back from this engagement here. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see if the rocket strike was successful. Looks like it was. We got 11 hits with rockets, but we need to deal with this ship that's coming up behind us. That is going to be a problem. Let's reset our heading to face it. It looks like it might be a keystone, which is a problem. No, that's a Rains. Come up this way, and then you need to change your heading to face this way, and we need to change your roll to go this way. All right, we have a short break of the jamming until they're ready for next round. Let's get some work done in that time. Let's open up on this really quickly with HE. Another one bites the dust. There goes the gray area. Cool, we just killed the Vauxhall. I'm going to open up on you. I'm going to lock you. I'm going to try and get a really close missile hit here. So I'm actually going to fire off 2 missiles at this guy. And I'm actually also going to fire off a couple of rocket containers at these two as well. This isn't great because we've got a good angle on us, but let's see what we can do really quickly. We've got missile separation. I really need you to turn. I'm going to hit flank. Heading command to this way. Oh, that's going to be a good hit with those missiles. Oh no, they're going for the chaff. Now they all got taken out. I want to take out the Rains first because it's got the jamming. How are we doing for damage? We're not taking too much damage yet, but we really need to get this ship turned. Everything here is dead, which is looking great. Well, at least this is dead. I'm not sure about the Rains yet, but we'll deal with that in a second. This is a pretty nasty engagement, actually. It's a bit of a there's the rockets being launched from the containers. We've got 3 that are going for the chaff, and none of them got through on the Vauxhall, but that's okay. I'm going to actually try and launch another 2 Thunderheads. Nope. I don't think we need to worry about doing anything special with them. Is this guy dead? It's looking pretty wrecked. Let's change our target. I'm going to lock you. I'm going to fire AP at you. I'm going to change you to shoot AP at them as well. What's one of those Thunderheads may have gotten through. No, those Thunderheads are going wild. Yeah, okay, this guy's dead as well. Let's update our heading command to face this way. Let's actually make sure that you're moving. Come around to the behind of this ship. And let's get sure the Abundance is also moving. Let's pincer this ship between us and cut it to pieces with AP. We've got a little bit of damage coming in here on our DC lockers. That's okay. They're at the front of the ship, so they're fine to be taking the damage. That's where our damage control teams are working. Let's get a heading command change on you. And I think you might be trapped a little bit, so I'm actually going to clear your heading and your roll command so that you're free to turn to face the target. And what we're going to do is from this angle here, we're going to launch missiles and missiles in an attempt to catch its PD and overwhelm it. Now we're cutting it to pieces from both sides. They did jam us, but they unfortunately didn't do much to affect us because our ships were a little bit apart from each other, and the angling worked really well in our favor.
We're almost out of missiles.
Just updating my heading command again.
Aye, aye.
There is no PD being fired from the ship at all right now. 1, 2, 3 hits. And here comes the cargo container. It just deployed, and it looks like there's no PD firing against the rocket container either. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to fire the rest of our rocket containers at this, but we're going to hold on to the Thunderheads in case there's any surprises in this mission, although I think we're pretty much wrecking the enemy. Is this ship? Yeah, this ship is dead. It launched escape pods. This ship is looking like it's okay, but I don't think it's going to last for very long. The AP, look at the accurate fire, how accurate the fire is from these casement weapons compared to the accuracy of the fire from the exception to the rules guns. Yeah, her bridge is offline. You've got to see the container pods here just separating from the ship and moving. And now they've engaged their engines. They almost pincered us, but we managed to turn it into a really positive engagement for us. There's not much that can survive rocket strikes like that. In fact, did that penetrate? No, it came through just on that tiny... Look, it got through that tiny nick there. I thought it actually penetrated the ship. Let's just see how we're going here. Oh, damn fine job, Lieutenant Commander. Search and rescue, then return to the OSP and Ember Reverse for repair and resupply. Mission complete. Wow. That was a quick mission, but we did pretty well on that. I'm pretty happy with how that played out. Getting that first rains very early, I think, worked very well in our favor. 22,000 damage dealt by the OSPN Onslaught of Abundance. It did about, what, nearly 20,000 damage with its... Yeah, and then how do the rockets do? 6,000 damage with the rockets. Potential damage, 40,000. And then how do we do with missiles here? We hit with 5 missiles, we missed with 4. That was actually pretty good missile warfare from me. I'm pretty happy with that. We killed that first Rains. It says it was eliminated at 2033, but I think we killed it a lot faster than that. Did we take 20 minutes for us to engage in combat? Maybe it did. I guess we were talking for a long time before we actually started the fight. But that is mission 2. That was a very exciting mission. It didn't take as long as I thought it would. I'm going to get mission 3 out tomorrow and then mission 4 out the day after that, so stay tuned. I hope you're really enjoying this series. I really am. I'm really liking this as a tutorial for how to play the OSPN. This was a great example of how to use a liner, and also just continuing the reinforcement of how to fight with an Ocello. You can see that it takes damage, but it also can do quite a lot of tanking if you play it effectively and keep it facing towards the enemy. And you saw as soon as the I think it was the last call, actually got shots on our side, we started to take some significant damage deeper into the ship. It's only because this ship has such good damage control that we didn't get taken out of the fight that quickly. But yeah, that was a really good mission. Let me know what you think. Really enjoying this series. Thanks again to Not So Lone Wolf for putting the mod together, and I'll see you in the next mission. But for now, have a great day. If you're liking this as well, by the way, please take a second to like the video or give it a comment. That really helps me know that you're enjoying what you're seeing. But I'll see you later. Ciao for now.